Hello everyone and welcome to race number 2 of our Elantra series. We're going to have Optics and Detail on the front row. Then we're going to have Luke and Slaunch, row number 2. Row number 3, we're going to have Roman and Matt bringing a different scheme this time around for race number 2, high noon scheme, and Deech running out the field in row number 4. And we're going to start on board with him and see how he navigates the start. Already green here for 26 laps around Homestead yet again. I believe Deech started, I want to say, third in the first moto, so obviously a little bit different here starting from the back, and yeah, we're going to see how he decides to manage that. That being said, starting from the back, not as big of a disadvantage on Homestead. Even if we had 10 or 12 driver field, it's just not as bad on Homestead with the draft and the way that this track races. Makes the starting position a lot less important compared to any of the road courses that we race, really. But already looking pretty good, finding an inside line there, drafting Luke on the far inside, and it looks like Teach is going to try to take that all the way to the podium if he can. Try to. We got the Pomplamoose launch around the outside, giving Optics a big slam into the entry of the turn right there, and trying to find momentum of his own. But yeah, Deech already going up to podium spot. Not taking too long, like I said. Shouldn't have to. On this type of racing, and it was kind of fun doing qualifying for it, even though again, like, qualifying doesn't really matter a whole lot, right? Like in the road course racing, qualifying is very, very important for those Moto 1s, and we saw that in the MX5 series, even where that how well you qualify could really it's not going to guarantee where you're going to finish, but it could give you a great spot, and that track position was really important. But again, going to Homestead, completely different. Still fun to do that qualifying though, with how close the gaps were. I believe the gap from like first to last was like 2/10, barely 2/10, if it even was like 2/10. And that's super tight. We maybe saw a couple qualifyings where the gap from like first to second was 2/10 in the MX5 series, but from first to last, like literally throughout the entire field, 2/10, like that's crazy. That was, never even close to the case in the MX5 series. So really fun to have that competitive of qualifying, and definitely going to be some pole positions up for grabs when we do more races like this with qualifying. And again, mentioned it in the last, I believe it was 4 wide there for a second. Oh, still 4 wide. Wow. I think Deech going to back out of that one. But wow, Matt with a big move to the inside, blocking that there too. Trying to stop Detail's momentum. But yeah, so I mentioned it in the last one with Indy. That's still pretty far away. Still like more than 2 months out. But eventually we will get to Indy in this series, and that will be the next like drafting style race. We do have another oval before then in Eagle Rock, and Eagle Rock does technically have a little bit of drafting on the straightaway. But you go into the turn so quickly that it doesn't really... It technically does a little bit, but it doesn't really make a big difference. It doesn't have as much time for you to take advantage of it like Homestead does, and then Indy has plenty of time. Like, that track is, like, all straightaway. So Indy's just going to be straight draft wars. It's going to be even different than Homestead, because Homestead, the cornering still does matter a little bit, especially when you're in a battle. Like, I think there's like a nice preferred line that you have to try to find where it's like towards the inside of the track, but it's not too far inside. And if you can find that line, you can carry a lot of momentum. Indy does have a little bit of finesse to its cornering, but with these cars, not that much. A lot of it is just going to be straightaway draft games, which is going to be pretty fun to watch. Be interesting. Holy, that was close. A little 4 wide action, I think, for a moment there again. But yeah, it'll be fun to watch because I think it's going to race, even though they're both drafting races. I think that they'll race very, very differently. Very differently. I don't think Indy will be quite similar to Homestead at all, outside of the obvious like drafting relation. But like the way those battles will play out with the drafting, I think will be quite a bit different. Because again, like Homestead, you can kind of like take it into the corner and like complete a pass in the corner. I suppose you could probably do the same thing at Indy, but again, like the straightaways, I swear they're like 2 times as long. So that's just going to make it feel so different. I'm curious to see how it plays out. Anyways, back to the race at hand here. Homestead 3 wide for the lead. Again, just multiple 3 wides, multiple 4 wides here early on. We're seeing some really good action in Moto 2, and I think that the drivers are starting to like warm up to it again. Like in Moto 1, like there was many instances where I think you could tell that we're all a bit rusty. I think there's like plenty of times where you could tell that. Like multiple cases where drivers were like going onto the apron like unassisted and stuff like that. Maybe getting a little wall tap when they probably could have just like ran the outside cleanly instead, getting into the wall a little bit, like just little things like that. And I think we're seeing, hopefully less of that here in Moto 2. And yeah, you can tell. Just like look at the way these guys are racing. I think finally warmed up to it here. And hopefully Moto 2, now that everybody's a bit used to it again, and then obviously getting used to the car as well. That was close though. Was that Opic shooting up the track? I think it was. I think we'll put on a better show here in Moto 2, hopefully. So far, so good. Always the question of cautions, too. Obviously, we had the one caution in the first race. That shook things up quite a bit. I don't expect, with this field, I don't expect there to be, like, too many cautions, hopefully. But there's always that possibility. And we already corrected, like I mentioned, the pace in the first race. We already corrected that here at the start. If you couldn't tell, the pace of the line was a lot slower, a lot more controlled. And we'll keep that going if there's a caution as well. If there's a caution as well, we'll keep that going, and we'll have that pace be at a more reasonable speed and a little more controlled. So already making that correction here in a Moto 2. And like I mentioned in the previous video, I'll try to have like an official pace speed for every track, every race as well. From here on out, just to have that be consistent, clear up any confusion about it, and hopefully keep those restarts as clean and consistent as possible throughout the whole season. So I didn't realize I waited this long, but we're almost like halfway through the race already somehow, and I'm pulling up the track map and the ticker and everything, the lap counter, and trying to get that back up on the screen, so we can keep an eye on when this race is going to end. But yeah, that beginning just like flew by. Did not feel like we're already like halfway through the race, but like right here at the stripe this time we're hitting halfway somehow. So just absolutely flying through this Moto 2 and showing how fast it can go when you go green. And the races are a little bit shorter, and I'm probably going to shorten up the other oval races just a slight bit too. These Homestead races were going to be 30 laps going into the night, but I did my own personal test on how the timing was going to work out, and I just decided that it was a little too tight. If there was like 3 or more cautions, it was going to start to get a little questionable, depending on how long those cautions would take to, and how long the choose takes, and then how fast our pace back to the line is, and figuring everything out. So yeah, I made that decision right before the race, which I try to not do that too much. But for this one, I thought it was a pretty good decision in the interest of the night, just in case we had like really bad like caution issues. Wow, what happened there? Is that, I believe that's yeah, that's Slaunch and Matt dropped back from the pack a little bit. Had some issues there, but no caution that I can tell currently. I hope they can catch back up, because that's actually a pretty decent gap. Now, the nice thing is these guys at the front are battling really hard right now, so I think that'll help them. But yeah, you can even see on the track map, they lost a little bit more than I thought, and it looks like they're trying to keep it clean, trying to get back to the pack. I hope they can. They're not too far back, but we'll keep an eye on that and see if they can catch back up to that draft again. Hopefully they can, because it's been a really good moto so far, and like pretty much everybody's been battling. So I really, if those two lost out of it, that would really, really be unfortunate. Oh, wow. Detail on the apron right there. Trying to get it to the inside. But yeah, look at how hard these guys are battling. And again, I think that'll really help Slaunch and Matt. I think that might save them here. I'm still keeping an eye on their gap. Oh, yeah, I think they got it. It looks like they finally got close enough. I think that aggressive battling actually did pay off. Like, I think that actually might have saved them. So shout out to anybody making rogue moves up front during that interval, because I'm almost certain that saved Slaunch and Matt's race. Like, that got a little a little sus. They were getting a little too far behind, but hey, look at that. Slaunch is like up in the top 5 now. Matt is right there at the back of the field again, but right on, you know, 2 drivers' bumpers in front of them. So they're all back in it. So love to see that. Nobody losing out on the pack here in Moto 2 and trying to keep this good battling going on all throughout the race. And I can't believe this. I mean, this is, again, we had those instances in Moto 1 and the caution and then the pack splitting up. But here we are, you know, we're almost up to 20 laps into Moto 2, and the pack is still roaring, still battling, still going back and forth, and we love to see that. This has just been an absolutely amazing Moto so far, and is really putting on a show for, you know, how fun and exciting this type of racing can be. You know, obviously in these types of cars, like when we get to NASCAR, that'll obviously be, you know, mostly oval racing. Wow, can really tighten the pack right there. That'll be mostly oval racing. For these types of cars, like to throw, you know, some ovals in here or there, but I think these types of cars generally like race better, are going to be more fun on the road courses. But this, you know, this moto definitely showing why we still have some ovals and still throw some oval races in there, even for these cars, because they can still be really fun, still be really competitive, viewership perspective, and then racers perspective too. It can be really fun both ways. So definitely earns its spot. Look at this. Look at that move to the inside. Oh, big contact. Whoa. Finally get some replay action here. What happened here? Let's take a look. Oh, Luke already hitting the give me some room signals on the straightaway. So we'll see how that turns out. Yep, another one right there. Then Roman keeping it down low. And then coming even closer on the entry and getting a little bop to the outside. Let's take a look at this from this perspective. Well, Luke does have the white gloves on, so keeping an eye on the wheel here. Not too much. Letting it get to the center for just like a little bit. But that looked way more like aggressive than it actually looked from the front car view. And there you saw another perspective of it from Opix here. And obviously going to lose a little bit of a momentum. So hopefully Opix does not lose the draft off of that. But it looks like we'll see how it pans out here. But I think that we might have the same situation with Matt and Slaunch, where like the aggressive battling will allow Opix to catch back up. And I think Deech recognizes the situation here too. He pulls down in front and gives Opix a tow right there. And I think that in particular is probably going to help get him back into it. And yeah, you could see it too. Deech is like, you know, dropping back a little bit, just as much as he can, but enough to give Opix. And yeah, you can see it's helping and it's getting him back into it. And right there, you can tell Opix has gotten the draft with Deech, and that should save him. Because Deech isn't going to have a problem catching back up to, you know, he's got a manageable distance, especially with these crazy moves that these guys are making up front. And yeah, look at this big momentum. Oh, a little pinball action right there. Look at that big momentum and how quickly Deech is able to get back to the pack right there. And then there you go. There's Opix, literally. He's split in the middle, 5 wide for a moment right there. And just like that, last place, you know, at risk of losing the draft, up to third, just like that. So crazy stuff. And yeah, the aggressive battling, I think what really hurt that pack trying to catch back up in Moto 1 was just they kind of recognized the situation. Like the front pack recognized the situation. They kind of settled out for a little bit, just chilled out, didn't really battle too hard, and it was just really hard for the second pack to figure it out and be able to make up that gap. But this time around, there's none of that. The guys battling for the lead are just absolutely duking it out for the lead and just sending it into the corner and making aggressive moves. And that's really helping everybody in the pack keep up, because that's, you know, obviously slowing down the momentum and keeping things competitive. So making it a little bit easier. We've seen multiple times here now in Moto 2. Oh, where drivers almost lost the draft and were able to get it back. What was that right there? We're going to take a look. We have another replay coming up. What's this? Wow, some aggressive block action out of Roman. Detail all the way to the inside of the track. Take a look at the rear-facing cam here. Makes the move. And like kind of already committed to the move and already to the bottom by the time Roman starts to make his move. I don't know about that one. It's a little rogue. So we'll see about that one. But Detail regaining back on the inside of the track, coming back up, taking the lead, and with a lot of support from behind, Luke and Deech on the inside. Opix there at the very back of the row as well. Roman trying to make this middle line and still just coming down as far as he can on the straightaway and trying to clear, and Detail almost making contact with him, almost on the apron. Still just barely enough room to run that inside and trying to hold it the best that he can, and still just like looking for whatever he can getting 2 tires under and trying to, you know, get some momentum here. And we're close to the end, by the way. We're close to the end, by the way. 3 laps to go. 4 wide come. Oh, that was really close. Really close right there. And that's the game that you play when you know, enter so tight on somebody's door. Just like the slightest bit of contact just shoots Roman up. And yeah, that was almost really bad, but luckily not too bad. And able to keep it clean and keep it going. And going to the 2 to go here. And can Roman do it again? Is he going to take 2 races on Homestead? Going to the lead, but this is a bit early. So I don't know if it's going to work out, but he is going to the lead here with 2 to go. Shooting to the replay camera, the actual, like, broadcast camera here for the end. 2 laps to go. Roman leading, and look who's on the outside. DJ in a position potentially to take another one. Can he go for 2 on Homestead? Could it be a battle for one of these drivers trying to take 2 wins? Oh, big contact into turn 3 and a big save out of Slaunch, and that's gonna lose a lot of momentum for that pack right there. Coming to the white flag. We'll take a look at a replay of that after. I don't want to break up the action right now. Coming to the white flag. Last lap to go here around Homestead, and Luke leading, but this is the same situation that we saw in the Homestead race of the grand final, leading to the white flag, not necessarily the position that you want to be in, and that momentum did cheese it. It's not a full pack anymore. It's just a 3-car pack, similar to the end of Moto 1, and Deech trying to go around the middle, trying to make that momentum work. Luke trying to hold on to the inside, trying to hold on to that momentum down there, trying to open up the turn as much as he can to get as much of a run to the straightaway, but Deech has got to push from behind. He's going to take the win in Moto 2. And again, position, not the position to be in for Luke, leading to the white flag here at Homestead, but taking second still. Matt on the podium again. Here, take a look at the results of this second pack battle, and we'll get to the replays here in a moment. All right, here we go. So let's see what happened here. And Slaunch trying to shoot the middle and trying to find a work, and Deech thinking he's clear, trying to come down. Roman trying to hold that inside. It all comes together in big contact, and I wonder if the lag cheese played a role here, because we saw it a couple times when we were on board with Slaunch in Moto 1. And I've had instances, too, where, like, when we were doing test lobbies where I was behind Slaunch and, like, clearly the way his car reacted, I slammed him. But, like, on my screen, I didn't hit him at all and didn't even get, like, the collision pop-up that you usually get when you hit somebody in Forza. Like, I wouldn't even get that. And yet I would just, like, clearly slam Slaunch off the track again, even though on my screen there's nothing. So I wonder if Deech got hit with the radar cheese on that and it actually looked clear for him. I'm not sure, obviously. No way to know. But with it being Slaunch, I wonder if that's what happened. But really unfortunate situation. And you could also see in the other replay with Roman, too, that Roman was really tight on the inside. And I don't know if he let go of the stick for a moment or if he got loose. But it seemed like as Deech was coming down, it seemed like that happened to Roman at the very same time. So I'm not sure. Like, it's very possible that that Slaunch would have had big contact coming his way either way. But it's obviously hard to tell because of the way that situation played out with the 3 wide. But either way, really unfortunate situation. At least they were able to save it. You know, at least it wasn't like an end under caution situation. That obviously really would have sucked. So at least they were able to save it and, like, run it to the end. And Deech taking Moto 2 and going to be trying to make it 3 in a row in Moto 3. Stick around, see if we can do it.